Hello and welcome back to my little kitchen. If you are a fan of shortbread, then today's recipe you are going to want to stick around for. This is the most melt in the mouth, light and delicious shortbread you are likely to ever eat. And the story behind it's pretty cool too. This was my great grandma's recipe. Her name was Bessie Dora. She came over to New Zealand in the late 1800s from England and thankfully brought this amazing recipe with her. So it's been passed down through the generations. I'm delighted to bring it to you. It is really easy to make. Again, some little tips and tricks that I like to share with you along the way, but I cannot wait to show you how I make it, so let's get started. To make my version of shortbread, all you need is 6 ingredients. So some room temperature softened butter, table salt, flour, icing sugar, confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, corn flour or cornstarch, depending where you're from, and arrowroot. It does seem unusual to some people that we have two sort of very similar starches in a recipe, and I just wanted to quickly explain to you why these are in here, but how you can amend it to suit what you have at home. So corn flour and arrowroot are both starch products, but they both serve a slightly different purpose to make the outcome of this recipe phenomenal. So the corn flour will react with the gluten and prevent that really chewiness that you get in a normal cookie recipe, and the arrowroot is going to provide a delicate soft crumb. So combined together, they're going to make a beautiful light melt in the mouth shortbread recipe. If you don't manage to catch all of the ingredients and the tips that I give you here, all of my recipes are on my website, justinmumnz.com, and that is the best place for you to make all of my recipes from, because I will give you the size of the pan, I'll give you how to set up the pan, the temperature, the ingredients, and the methods that I use, so you don't have to try and catch up with it here. And really importantly, that's actually the only way I get paid, is from people visiting my website. So as fun as social media is, it doesn't pay the bills and it doesn't pay the hockey fees for the kids. So if you want to support me, that's a really cool way to do it. Because the original recipe came over from Staunton, England, I think is where Bessie Dora was from, Mum told me. The ingredients were all in ounces. So I have simply put them into grams so that you guys can put them into whatever unit of measurement you like. So we're going to put in 115 grams of flour. Then we're going to put in, just checking my recipe down here, 55 grams of icing sugar, powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar, whatever you guys like to call it. So then that is 55 grams of icing sugar and the same amount of corn flour. And then we will also put in the same amount of arrowroot if you are using it. Otherwise, just do another 55 of the corn flour, no problem at all. Arrowroot can be found just in the baking aisle and of your local supermarket. So we have those dry ingredients in there. We're going to set them aside and get on with softening that butter. So the first step is we're going to add the softened butter to the food mixer. And then we're going to turn it on and whip it for about 4 minutes until it is beautiful and creamy. So we'll just take that off so I can show you. You can see that is beautiful and creamy and light now. The next step happens really quickly, so we're nearly there. So what we're going to do now is sift back in the dry ingredients that we had earlier. So we're just going to pop this in here. Just a little bit at a time so I don't make a mess. So that is all in there, and now all we're going to do is mix it until it only very just combines, and then we're done. Okay, so that has clumped together really nicely. As you can see, it's clumped together all over that, so it turns into this beautiful dough. So now we're going to roll it out and make some shortbread. So here we go, we have the dough, and we're just going to have a few things on the go ready for us so that we can make this step really easy. We're going to have some trays that are covered in baking paper. The oven is set to 160 degrees Celsius, fan bake, so we've got we're going to have 2 trays on the go. We've got our dough, obviously. We're going to have a cutter. You can do this just with a knife and cut it into strips. You can do any shape you like, actually. It's lovely, stars, Christmas trees, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, hearts. We have also got a rolling pin and a spatula. So we do not chill this dough, and we do not need to make it into bars. It's quite a delicate, beautiful dough. So it works a little bit different maybe than some of the shortbread recipes that you've seen. We are going to roll this out now about sort of 4 mil, 5 mil thick, not too thin. So we will get underway doing that. Not gonna lie, I'm quite nervous about doing this on video because I always make a mess. But anyway, that's probably really good for you guys to see, that things will go badly, everything will stick to the bench. Could I be more covered in flour? I have got a little thingamy-bob here with some flour in it because I'm going to just dust my cutter in that. We don't want any of this to stick if we can help it. And then we're simply going to cut out our little shapes, obviously trying to keep them as close together as we can, dipping it in between where we need. It has started raining, so we're just going to have to ignore if the sound goes all wackadoo because I've got to go to school pickup, so we need to get this done. So then we're going to, you can sort of peel this away if you like, pop it over here because we're going to re-roll it and use it, of course. If you want, you can dip the end of that, any sort of metal spatula, because this is so delicate and light already. And then we're going to take that and pop it onto our tray. It's pretty simple. When you're mixing back together the scraps, try not to use too much of the flour that's down there because we don't want to dry it out or overwork it any more than we need to. Sort of scooch that flour back over that area, light dusting, and we're going to roll it out again. It's never going to be as perfect as it was that first time, and that is absolutely fine because it will bake up beautifully, so don't worry about that, but it will get a little bit more dry each time in between. They are still going to be lovely. Roll uniform heights, so these ones are probably going to be thicker than those ones, but that's fine. And then just carry on, and again we're going to do this. You can see why some people choose to just use a knife, and that's absolutely fine. The reason I use a metal spatula is because this is so light, and if I was to pick this up with my fingers, I would end up with finger marks in it and it would lose its shape. So onto another round. You just simply keep going, keep re-rolling your dough, and it's getting dark and it's raining. Shortbread is one of those things that people have been making forever and they all have their own recipe. This is just my little version, which I think is amazing. Left over with some little scraps, so we're just going to make that into a random, I always call this the taste tester, a random little something, a little blob that only your mother could love, and pop that on, and then we're going to bake. So we've made a wonderful mess. We have our shortbread here ready to go in the oven. It goes in for about 12 to 14 minutes, just until the edges start to go a very light brown. So you actually don't cook them until they are uniformly brown. They stay quite pale. So I'm going to pop them in the oven now and show you what they look like when they're done. Oh my goodness, I forgot the most important bit. Well, there's some debate whether it is the most important bit. Whether you want to put a little design on the top. Some people say it's not shortbread without it. So just a little fork marks. Are you enjoying the flour all over my hand? Okay, now we're ready to put them in the oven. I've given them little fork marks on the top and I'm going to bake them 12 to 14 minutes until they are just very lightly golden brown at the edges. With the magic of some editing, time has passed. These are perfectly cooked. They have cooled down nicely so that I'll be able to handle them. The lighting is still dull and dreary out there, but the house smells amazing with these shortbread. As you can see, I just wanted to show you underneath, they are a really light golden colour when they're cooked. So you're not really looking for much colour on the middle. They will rise a little bit. And I always say shortbread smells shortbready when it is ready. And prior to that, it's just going to smell like flour. But once they are just about ready, they will start to have that beautiful shortbread smell. So it's really is as simple as that. So I think Bessie Dora would think it is pretty cool that we are making this recipe and sharing it across the world all these years later. And that is what I love about recipes, is we get to share them with friends and family and keep them going forever and ever. So I just wanted to show you how good it is when you break it in half. These are light, delicious, they melt in the mouth, and I really think you're going to love this recipe. So thanks for following along. If you made it this far, congratulations, and I hope you have a fabulous day.